Good afternoon, everyone. This is BremSter, and today I'm coming to you with something that's a little bit different. So, before I get into this puzzle, which is Broken GPS, which is a puzzle that I created, I want to go into a little bit of a story about how puzzles are created, by at least by me, and why this puzzle is going to be something a bit different for my channel. So, quite often when setting a puzzle, what I will do is I will come up with a basic idea for what I want the start of a puzzle to be. Normally, I try and make that something interesting. And then I will put that into a Sudoku setting tool. The one that I often use is the one that was created by Ranks, which integrates with the F-Puzzles setting tool. And it has a thing called True Candidates mode, where when you put something into a grid, it will show you the results of what that will be. It will do any eliminations that are made and any force digits and anything like that. Now, the reason I do this is not so that the computer is solving it for me, but so that I can get any gotchas, because quite often when when setting a puzzle, you will put some constraints into a grid, or at least I find this the case. I'll put some constraints into a grid and I will be playing around with ideas, and then I'll find out that the puzzle is broken because the computer is able to turn around and will say, because this, and this, and this forces a Y wing here and an XYZ wing here, and this will force an elimination in this cage, which will feed back and stuff that a human will never see. But it will either force digits or force really strict eliminations that I don't expect to be part of the solve, but I can use that information to know, well, if I know that, this digit here is going to be a 3 with the constraints that I've already used, I can't then expect that to be, part of a high arrow or something like that. Or I can't make it a bulb of an arrow that I expect to be high or something like that. Or if I'm going to put a whisper line through that, I can't put, two low digits together on a whisper line or something like that. It prevents me from making mistakes in my setting. But I tend not to try and use it too much. What I will often do is I will put some stuff into the grid, make sure it's not broken, move it into the solving tool. So I'll export an incomplete puzzle to Sudoku pad, and then I will solve it as far as I humanly can. And then I will see if what I've got lines up with the computer solver and whether the computer's made leaps that I can't, and see if I can figure out what that is. And if I can't, then I'll just assume that the computer can see stuff that a human never will. But I will go back with the information that I've got on my solving grid, which I got to using what I could find. And then I'll figure out, then I'll go, okay, what would I add to this now? What would I be expecting to see? Are there any forced eliminations? Are there any forced restrictions? And what clues would I put into the grid at this point in order to be able to do it? And then I will add those in the setting tool, again, using the computer solver to sort of prevent me from going down blind alleys if I can. The setting tools don't know everything. So they don't know most constraints or many of the constraints we use. So I'm very limited on what it will tell me, but it'll tell me the common ones. And then I will go back to the solving tool and I'll start from scratch and I will resolve again. And the reason I'll do that is often the new constraints I've put in will give me other ways of solving. Sometimes easier, sometimes it will give me different ways of being able to explore a puzzle. So I'll solve from the beginning again and take it as far as I humanly can. And then I will say, okay, in the grid, in the state I can solve to now, which sometimes will be the clues I put in. The computer will say, oh, this will give you all this information. And it's obfuscated stuff that you had before because there's so much information, or the information you've added make things harder to see. So often you then go back and you remove everything you did, because even though the computer can find more stuff, you've actually ruined the flow, and you end up going backwards and forwards, or at least I do. I go backwards and forwards, and I use the tool as the computer assistant tool as a way of making sure I don't go down blind alleys, and I will use it as maybe a little bit of information, but most of the time what I'm doing is putting constraints in, solving the puzzle as far as I humanly can, figuring out what I want to put in, putting those in, resolving, and I'm just going back and forth between adding some stuff, solving from scratch, adding some stuff, solving from scratch, adding some stuff, solving from scratch, until I get a puzzle that I'm happy with the flow at. And often at the end of the puzzle, when it's down to only a few things to resolve it, I'll use the computer to give me some assistance to, what would be an okay clean ending. That's not what this puzzle is. This puzzle is someone in Skunkworks had turned around and said, I've never set a puzzle and I'm daunted as to how to do it. So I had a few minutes. I didn't have too long because I had to go out, but I had a few minutes. I said, I'll show you the tool. And what I did is I loaded up the tool and I loaded up all the computer assisted tool and I just put some stuff into the grid. And that gave some nice eliminations. It had been an idea I'd actually thought about before, and showed some ideas. And using that, I then sat around and said, and because of this, you could probably put this here, and that would make these restrictions. And because of that, you could probably put this here and this here. And in about 10 minutes, this grid appeared. Just be following what the computer was doing eliminations. I did no back and forth testing. I literally was just putting stuff into the grid. When the computer gave me elimination, it was like, oh, well, that would force this to be under pressure, and then I could do this and I could do this. This is not a good way of making a puzzle. It is, if you've used that method of making a puzzle, you may luck into a good puzzle, but most of the time what you will get is something with no flow to it. You don't know how the constraints are actually going to interact. You've got an idea based on what the computer has told you, but the computer may be doing all sorts of weird logic that you don't know. So using that is not a great way to create a puzzle. But I was just demonstrating the tool and how the tool can help you do eliminations. And I was saying while I was doing it, you normally go back and forth and human solve part way and see what you would get to. But I didn't do that for this. And at the end of it, because I was under time pressure, I literally posted it to one of the chat channels saying, here is a completely untested puzzle. And a few people decided to pick up on it and test it. And the feedback was, this is okay. It didn't come back as a great puzzle. I'm not saying this is a great puzzle, but I've never solved this puzzle. So normally before you release a puzzle for someone else to test it, you would solve it yourself. Like any setter who doesn't do that, I would absolutely cringe at. I'm cringing at myself because I did it this time. And I did it for a reason. I did it because I created this as a demonstration on the setting tool. And I was clear, this is not being tested at all. Here is a puzzle. I created this computer assisted. This is not a good way to make a puzzle. And people decided to try and solve it. And they came back saying, this is actually interesting. There's some good stuff here. So what I wanted to do is for this, and I do not recommend anyone try and set a puzzle this way normally, but I wanted to record my test solve of my own puzzle. Because normally I wouldn't do that because I don't do a full test solve. A test solve is something I will often be able to just go into a test solve and just punch in digits because I've solved those first bits dozens and dozens of times, sometimes up to 30 or 40 times or more. One puzzle I can think of, I think I solved at the beginning maybe 100 times as I was iterating for the middle and the ending. But normally I will not just create stuff with the computer and then try and solve from scratch, where I've never tried to solve any of the puzzle before at all. This one, because of the way it was created, I can actually say I'm doing this. This is a puzzle that has been tested by other people, but I have never tried to solve my own puzzle. I don't recommend setting this way, but this is an opportunity that will not come up often because I was lazy. But I thought it might be interesting to people, first of all, for me to have this discussion about how I set puzzles and some of the tools I use to do it and the way I use those tools, but also for people to see BremSter trying to solve a BremSter puzzle that BremSter hasn't actually tried to solve before. I don't know what I'm going to find in this. I've got an idea of what my original break-in was and where the order in which I added clues based on the things that were happening. So this isn't going to be 100% blind solve, but I've never tested this. This is my test solve of my puzzle, and I thought people might find this interesting. I'm not throwing a completely horrible puzzle at the channel though, because other people have tested it and said it was worthwhile. So yeah, this is going to be interesting for me and for you. So let's have a look at Broken GPS by BremSter, a puzzle that BremSter has not attempted to solve. So, normal Sudoku rules apply. In every box, in every row, and in every column, the digits 1 to 9 must be placed without repetition. Digits in cages must sum to the number in the top left corner of the cage, but digits cannot repeat within cages. So it would not be possible, for example, I'm ignoring the arrows, for me to make both of those a 6 and therefore summing to 12 and that a 3. That would not work because it is not possible for you to repeat digits in a cage. Digits placed on an arrow must sum to that... my mouse is not working correctly. Digits placed on an arrow must sum to the digit placed in that arrow's circle. I'm just going to have to push through. Which means the sum of those two will go there, the sum of those two will go there. And it's the same with all of the arrows. I'm going to restart the puzzle to restart my timer. let's give this a shot. Now, I do know what my break-in was, so I'm going to jump straight to that and see how we go. So, my original break-in was based around the arrow and this 15 cage, because this is a 3-cell arrow where all of the digits see each other. So this has to be a 6, 7, 8, or 9. But on this arrow, we have a severe restriction caused by the fact that on an arrow like this, you can never put a high digit, because you can never put a 9 on an arrow that sums to more than 9. You can never put 8 because the other two digits have to sum to at least 3. And you can never put 7 for the same reason. So you can never put a high digit on this. Now, the 15 cage also has interesting properties. Now, a 15 cage can be made up of 3 middling digits. 4, 5, 6 is 15. But if you put 2 mid digits into a 15 cage, the other digit must be mid. So 4, 6, what you're missing is a 5. 4, 5, what you're missing is a 6. But if you cannot put 2 low digits into a 15 cage, because if you do, the biggest you could do is 2, 3 for 5, and the other digit would have to be a 10. You cannot put 2 high digits into a 15 cage, because the lowest you could do is 7, 8, which is already 15, and the other digit would have to be 0. So you either have 3 middle digits or a low, a middle, and a high digit. That's just the way it works. But I can't put 2 middle digits onto this arrow, because this would be 4, 5 minimum. That would have to be a 0. So there must be a low digit on this. And I'm very tempted to pause my video and try and find a better mouse. I'm actually going to do this because this mouse is stuttering like mad. So give me a second. I'm just going to pause and find a new mouse. Okay, I've stolen the mouse from my work computer, and hopefully this will be better. Okay, so where was I? So this cannot contain a high digit, and it cannot contain 2 middle. So there must be a low digit on here, because an arrow like this must contain 2 low digits. So there must be a low digit in here, and this can't contain a high digit. But we know the 15 cage must have a low, a middle, and a high. So this has to be a high digit, because there has to be a high digit in the cage, and this is a low and a middle. But because a 15 cage is low, mid, and high once you have a low and a high digit in it. So because you can't do 2 mids, because that forces it to be 3 mids, which you can't do. So where's the second low digit go? Because I can't put them both there. It goes here, and this is a 1, 2, 3. And that becomes forced. This is an exact replica down here, with this arrow, ignoring everything, but this arrow and this cage are an exact replica. So this is a 7, 8, 9, and this is a 6, 7, 8, 9, and this is a 1, 2, 3. Now, the question we want to ask is, what happens if this becomes a 3? Now, if this becomes a 3, these cells here, what can they be, basically? Because if this is a 3, these can't be 3, because this would have to be 12. It can't be 4 to make this 7, because this would have to be 11. It can't be 5 to make this 8, because this would have to be 10. So this would have to be 6. So with this being 9. So this would be 3, 6 with this being 9. But this being 3 and 6 would make this also 9. So this cannot be 3. And the same is true down here. This cannot be 3. So you end up with these being 1, 2, a 1, 2 pair in the column. And because if you put a 3 here, those are both forced to be 9. This 12 cage now becomes interesting, because the minimum you can put in there is 3, 4, and 5, and because you don't have 1, 2 available, and 3, 4, 5 sums to 12. This 8 cage now can be 1, 7 or 2, 6, actually. And basically that was my break-in. That's where I get up to, and I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing now. My break-in was this 1, 2 pair and this 12 cage. And after that, I am just blind. So if this is a 6, well, actually, no, these can't be 6s. Because if these are 6s, this is 1, 2, 3, and these are both low digits. And we've already said you can't put 2 low digits into a cage. So these are 7, 8, 9. Now, these digits up here are now forced to be quite high. These are from 6, 7, 8, 9. And you can't put 9 on an arrow. So these I can't put a 4 in here because, or anything higher than a 4 in here, or 4 or higher in here, because 4 plus 6 would mean 10. So these are only from 1, 2, 3. And that gives me a 1, 2, 3 triple, and this has to be, a 3 has to be here. And wherever the 3 goes, I can't put it with 7 or 8, so that puts a 6 in here. So there's a 3 here and a 6 here, and we know one of those is 9. That's... I remember these were the next clues placed after this, but I didn't know what they were doing. And this is the thing. This is why this is interesting. I do now know that one of these is 9, because these are from 6, 7, 8, 9. This can't be 7 because 7 here would put 3 here and that would break this. So this is not 7. So this is 1, 2, or 4. And this, if this is 9, this is 4. 8 would make this 5, 6, or 7. 4, 5, 6, or 7 goes in there. Hang on, there's no 6 here because 6 is up here. So there's no 6, 4. And there's no 6, 7. But that's now a 1, 2, 3 triple. So there's no 1, 2 there, so there's no 6, 7 there. Is it this 6 cage? Or is it these arrows? We know that those sum to 15 because this is the same as that, and those, so these are basically 15 because if I was to colour those 3 digits as the 15 cage, that has the same sum as those. So I can uncolour that and recolour those, and I've maintained the same total. So these sum to 15, and it's 15 in 4 digits. There's a lot of different ways of doing that, but there must be a 1 or a 2 in here. I'm not sure that's it. And this is 15 in 4 digits. There's a 1 or a 2 in here. One of these is 9. Hang on a minute. One of these is 9. Can I put an 8 here? No, I can't. I can't put an 8 here because one of these is 3, 6, 9. If I put an 8 here, it'd be 8, 1, 9. That doesn't work. I can't put an 8 here. So this is a 6, 7 pair. And I can't do 2, 7 because 2, 7 would need another 9. So this is a 1, 3 pair, which means this is a 2 and this is an 8. This is not 7 or 8. This is the 9, which means this is the 4. This 6 cage, well, this 2 means this is 1 and this is 2. Three is now down here somewhere. These 4 is in here. Wow, this is weird. And this is an 8-9 pair. We know this is an 8-9 pair because one of these is 1, 7 and the other is 3, 6. These 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7. That's not useful, is it? Well, there's no 3 there. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But actually, that could be any of them, can't it? No, it can't be 6 or 7. This is 5, 8, or 9 because of the 6, 7 there. Now, do I need a 1 in here is the question. Well, hang on. Can I put a 1 in here? Yeah, I can. This would be 1 and 6. I was warned this is harder than normal for stuff that I do. So I know that these sum to 15. Wait a minute, these sum to 15, but I have to add that. So these sum to 17. Okay, these here. Wow. Wow. Okay. I know I'm wowing my own puzzle, but as I said, this is not normal. So these here sum to 15 because of that cell being the same as those. But those two arrows are the sum of those digits. So this is 15 plus 2. So those digits sum to 17. So that's an 8, 9 pair. These sum to 15 for the same reason. And these sum to 16. So those are a 7, 9 pair. If that's a 9, that's an 8. Yeah, if that's a 9, that's a 7, and that's a 9. So this is an X-wing on 9s. If that's a 9, that's a 7, so that's a 9. If that's an 8, that's a 9, that's a 7, and that's a 9. This is an X-wing on 9s. So 9 is in one of the diagonals on this. So that there is not a 9. 9 is in one of those two, and 9 is in one of those two. .22 gauge, does that need a 9? Probably not. But I know 9 is down here somewhere. 8 is not in here. 8 can't be on a 3-cell arrow. So the 7 could be down here. But the 8 is in one of those 3. If this is an 8 with a 2 on it, it'd be well, this is an 8 arrow. It must have a 1 on it. Oh, no, if this is either 2, 3, 4, and if this is 3, 4, this is 8. Hang on, that doesn't work. If this is 8, 2, 3, 4, this is 3, 4, which is 7, and this needs to be an 8. That doesn't work. There must be a 1 in here. So this is 1, 2, and if it's an 8, it's 1, 2, 5, and if it's 9, it's 1, 2, 6. Because these have to be different. And if this is 1, 2, 5, this is 8, this is 9. 1, 5 being 6 plus 9. And if this is 1, 6, that's 7 plus 8. And 2, 1, 6 makes... Right, that works. Now, down here, can I do the same trick? But there is a 1 on... I could probably do something here because of that. This is weird. I could probably do something down here because of this. If this is 7, these are 2, 4, which is 6, and that's a 9. And if this is 9, this becomes 7, which means these have to sum to 8. I couldn't use 1, 7. I could use 2, 6. But I could also use 3, 5. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. This one's not as good. But this There has to be a 2 or a 3 in here. If this is... What about this 6 cage? If this is 1, 5, this has a 2 in it. If this is 2, 4, this is 3, 5. Okay, let me look at this again. Because we know these sum to 15. I'm going to bring up my calculator. I haven't used this in a while. 15 in 4. There's a lot of different ways of doing that. I have to use a 1. So 2, 3, 4, 6 is out. I can't use a 2 at all. So 1, 2, 3, 9, 1, 2, 4, 8, 1, 2, 5, 7. So there must be a 3 on this. Because it's 1, 3, 4, 7. Look, hang on. Wait, what? Or 1, 3, 5, 6. So this has to be 1, 3, 5, 6. It's the only way to make 15 in 4 without the 2. So these are 1, 3, 5, 6. There's a 3 here. If this is 3, 5, but that means this is the 8, this is the 9, this is now 1, 6, which means this is not 1, 6, this is 3, 5, this is the 8. The 9 makes this 7 and this 9. This means this is actually 1, 2, 4, which means this is 1, 5. This 9 arrow now can't be 1, 8, 2, 7, or 4, 5. So it's 3, 6, which takes 3 out of there and 6 out of those. This is 5, 7, and I take 5, 7 out of those. This is now a pair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is an 8, 9 pair. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. Well, that can't be 4 because that's a 3-cell arrow. The 1, 5 looks like making this the 6 and this the 1. The 6, 7 here makes that not a 7. So 7 is over here somewhere. If this is 7, this is 1, 2, 4. These are, oh, the 7 makes this 6, which makes this 2. And these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8. The 8 here makes that the 1 and that the 8. This 7 makes this 5 and this 7. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 5, and 9 up here. One is in one of those 3. Actually, 1 is not there. There's no 1 on this arrow. So this isn't a 7. This is a 9. This is an 8. That makes this 4. And that makes that 7. The 8 makes that 9. So the 8 arrow has to have a 1 on it somewhere. And it's either 1, 2, 5 or 1, 3, 4. This 22 cage can probably take all of those, can't it? But the maximum I can put in here is a 5. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maximum I can put in here is 6. Because the maximum you can put on this is 6. So I've got to have, in this 22 cage, I have to have 2 digits that are 6 or less. But that was probably forced, wasn't it? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. Oh, that's now just a 9 by Sudoku. So these digits here sum to 13. Not sure that's floating my boat. 7 is in one of those two. That's not a 1. Oh, there's no 1 on this arrow. This is a 2, 3, 4 arrow. What am I even talking about? This is a 2, 3, 4 arrow. So there's no 3, 4 there. This is the 5. This is a 3, 4. So this can't be 1, 3, 4 now. So this has to be 1, 2. This is a 1, 2, 5 arrow. That feels right. Because it can't be 1, 3, 4. So this cage can't have a 7 in it. Can't have a 6 in it. So that, I think, has to be an 8. Because the maximum... I think that has to... I can't use a 7 or a 6 there. If this is a 5, the maximum these would be is 5, 4, 2. 5, 4, and 2 is 11, and that only gets me to 20. This is an 8. So these sum to 17. These have to sum to 5. So that's not a 5. This is 1, 4, or 2, 3. There's no 2 there. Six is in here in one of those two. This is nuts. 1 is still in one of those, by the way. This is a 6, 7 pair because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9. These are 6 and 7, and that 7 makes that 6 makes that 7 and that 6. So this is now 7. It's the only place left for 7. And this is a... Well, it can't be 6, 7, 8, 9 or 1, 2, 5. So it's 3, 4, giving me a 3, 4 pair. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a 6, and I've broken the puzzle. I have broken the puzzle, and I don't know where. And this is the sort of thing that happens a lot when you're testing. And... it would be normally very, very tempting for me to now go and check against what I would expect the save state to be. Because I don't even know if this is correct, because I don't know much about this. I mean, that's normal. I'm trying to solve this as a blind solve. But I don't even know if this is correct. It felt correct. But I don't think any of that felt wrong. Where would I have gone wrong? The stuff in here, maybe? I feel terrible about this. I was really hoping that I'd be able to... So I'm pretty comfortable about the X-Wing on 9s. Did I go wrong here? Because if this is 2, 3, 4, this is 7, this is 8. Oh, and this is 9. I think I went wrong there. That's where I went wrong. And I'm sure there were a lot of people laughing at me for that one. This is the thing, I'm both in recording and testing mode, and I've not done that. I should stop looking for deductions. Okay, so these are 6, 7, 8, 9. And they can't both be 9. So there's a 1 in one of these arrows. I could put 1 on both of those arrows because they leak into these boxes. So it is, but it's not possible for both of those. Yeah, it is possible for both of those to not be 9. Now, 15 in 4 without 2. I looked at that before, didn't I? So let's do that again. It's 15 in 4 without 2. I'm going to start that from scratch because it can't be 1, 2, 3, 9, can't be 1, 2, 4, 8. So it is 1, 3, 4, 7 or 1, 3, 5, 6. So there is a 1 and a 3 in these cells. And that I'm going to highlight that yellow. And I can't put them on the same arrow. So one of them has a 1 and one of them has a 3. Now this is 15. Hang on, but this is 15 in 4 without a 1. So this is actually known. This is 2, 3, 4, 6. So there's no 3 here and there's no 6 those. This is still 5, 7. This is still 3, 6. These are 2, 3, 4, and 6. There's no 6 there. There's no 7 there. This is an 8, 9 pair. That is still true. Now, this is either 2, 4. I can't put a 6 in here. Or this is either 2, 4 or 2, 6. If I put a 1, 3 here, I can't get to 7. And to 9, I need a 5. There's no 3. There must be a 2 in here. There's no 2 here. There must be a 3. So it's either 3, 4 or 3, 6. That works. Right. So this is either 1, 3, 4, 7 or 1, 3, 5, 6. Now, if this is 1, 2, 4, yeah, that just works, doesn't it? Because this becomes 6, this becomes 9, this becomes 7. If this is 1, 2, 6, this becomes 7, and this becomes 9. Wow. I made a mistake with the ones up here. Now, can this be... No, this can't be 2, 4 now. Because this would be 3 and both of those would be 6. So this is 1, 5, which means there's no 1 there. I don't know that that's done that much. 9 is in one of those two. Eight is in here. Well, 8 is in one of those two. 9, 1. This would be 7 or 8. This would be 5, 1. So if this is... Hang on, this can't be 1, 3, 4, 7. Where would I put the 7? Oh, this could be 1, 7, 8, 2, 4, 3, 4, 9. No, I could. So it's either 1, 7, 3, 4, or if it's 1, 3, 5, 6. I couldn't put this would be 1, 6. And this would be 3, 5. So they're the possibilities for this. I am confuzzled. And all I know is 1 and 3 is needed. There's no 1 there. So what am I missing? We know these sum to 17. 45 minus 17 is, hang on, 45 minus 17, 35, 28. 28 in 4. There's only 2 ways of doing that. 4, 7, 8, 9 or 5, 6, 8, 9. That makes sense. It's the things that I haven't included, yeah. 4, 7, 8, 9. 7 would be over here. Nine is up here. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 8, 9 go in there. And there must be a 4 and a 9 in it. That's not it, though. I'm lost. Oh, hang on. This 9 is looking there. That's not the 9. This is the 9. This is the 9. This is the 1. So this is 7 or 8. And it's not 8. This is 7. This is 8. This is 9. There's no 8 there. There's no 9 there. The 1 makes this 5 and 1. Definitely made a mistake with the ones up here. 7 is in here. Wait a minute, where's 7 in this column? 7 is in here. So this is the 9, this is the 7, this is the 8, and this is the 9. So the 9 is 2, 3, 4, or 2, 1, 6 still. So this can't be a 6. But this is 7, so there's no 6 here. This is 2, 4, so there's no 4 here. This is 3, 6. This is not the 8 anymore. This is the 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There is a 7 in here. It's not there. So this is the 7. That's a 3, 6 pair. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those are 2 and 5. And these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. And there must be a 4 in them. This is now an 8 arrow, so it's got a 1 on it. And it's either 1, 2, 5 or 1, 3, 4. There's no 1 there. So there's a 1 in one of those two. .22 cage can have a 1 in it. I need to reset the 22 cage. I was using the calculator at the end there and I got it all wrong. Okay. So these have to sum to 7. And these have to sum to 8. But I can ignore the 15 cage now. I've done all the work on that. 3, 4 or 1, 6. Seven in this box. It can't be there. It can't be on the arrow. So 1, 3, 4, 7. Or 1, 3, 5, 6. Oh, this 7, of course, has made this 5 and this 6, which makes this 2. I'm getting flustered. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 and 8, and the 8 makes this the 1 and this the 8. The 8 takes 8 out of those. That is a 4, 5, 9, and this becomes the 8, which is done not much. The 4, 5, 9 makes this 7. Huh. There's no 1 on this arrow anymore. This is 2, 3, 4, and this is 9. Which means this is not 9. There's no 3, 4 there. This is 5. There's no 5 here. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 2, 3, 4. If this is 1, 3, 4, 7, that's a 5. So that's a 6. And if this is 1, 3, 5, 6, that's a 4. And that would be a 7. So this can't be 1, 3, 5, 6. This is 1, 3, 4, 7. So there's no 6 there. There's no 1 there. This is a 3, 4 pair. So there's no 3 there. This is 1, 7. And I know the order. The 1 makes that 7 and that 1. There's no 1 there. This is a 3, 4 pair. This is a 5. There's no 5 here. This is now a 6, which takes 6 out of there. This is an 8 arrow that has to have a 1 on it, which must go there. And this is either 2, 5 or 3, 4, and it can't be 3, 4. So it's 2, 5. 2, 5 pair means that's not a 2. That 9 there means that's not the 9 and this is the 9. And could I do the same math as before? If this isn't an 8, it becomes a 5, and I end up with 5 and 2, which is 7, plus 4, which is 11, plus 9 is only 20. This has to be the 8. There is an 8 up here somewhere. 8, 1, 9 could work. These are 1, 2, 3. Wait a minute, this isn't 7. So what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are 3, 4, 6. I haven't got the conflict yet, which I suppose is good. I'm hoping I don't hit it again, otherwise this video is going to die. 2, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. 3, 4, 6, and 8 go up there. So where is 6 in this column? It can only go there. That's the 6, that's the 3. There's no 3 there. That's the 6. So that's the 3, and that's the 6. Seven is in one of those two. What is this capable of being? Can't be 1, it can't be 2, it can be 3, 4, can't be 5, can't be 6, can't be 7, can be 8. So if this is 8, this is 1, and it can't be, so this is not the 8, and it can't be because of that. If this is 3, this is 6, and if it's 4, it's 5. It can't be 6. This is 5, this is 4, so this is 6. The 4 looks down making this 3, so this is not 3. What is going on? This is 2, 3, or 4, so it's 2 or 3. The 4 looks back making this 9 and this 4. The 6 looks across making this 7 and this 6. And the 7 had to go with the 1 because the 6 goes with the 3 to make the 9 and the 7 goes with the 1 to make the 8. This is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 5, and 7. There's no 5 in those because of that 5. The 7 looks up, making that 2 and that 7. The 2 looks down, making that 4 and that 2. The 4 looks up, making that 3 and that 4. There's no 4 here anymore. In fact, 4 is in one of those two. This column is just missing a 1. So this is a triple. Is it 3, 6, 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3, 6, 7. There's no 6 here. And this is 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. 2, 4, 5, and there's no 2 there. What have I done? There's no 3 here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 1, 2, and 3. There's no 1 there. So this is the 1. There's a 2, 3 pair. What have I done? Oh, 22 cage. These are 17, so these have to sum to 5. So that's a 2, that's a 5, that's a 4, that's a 2, that's a 4, which looks down, making that a 3, which looks up, making that a 2, and that a 3. The 3 looks down, taking 3 out of there. I could have just used the 3 in the box for that. This is now a 4 by Sudoku, which looks up, making that 6, looking across, making that 3, that 7, and that 6. The 3 continues to look across, making that 4 and that 3. The 6 now makes this the 7. 7. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which looks down, making this 2 and this 5. And I can't believe I didn't include the solution in this puzzle. I am going to confirm that the solution is correct before I post the video, but that is a test solve of the puzzle. That is absolutely bonkers. If this isn't the correct solution, I won't post the video. Normally I embed the solution, but because I thought I'd reset this, but because I hadn't actually taken this through my normal process, because this is literally my test solve, I have not put this puzzle through my normal creation process or anything. Yeah, I obviously skipped a step, but I'm sorry about that. That is Broken GPS by BremSter. A puzzle I had not solved, and I really want to reach out to the people who solved this as me posting something that I created, honestly, in about 10 minutes as a demonstration, using computer assistance heavily for just taking a stab at it. I do not recommend this method of setting. I do not at all. But, you know, sometimes it's the way it goes. I was very, very lucky in this case. If you do computer assisted setting, then you can create a lot of puzzles. Like you can create 4, 5, 6 puzzles a day and then solve them and see which ones are good. I'm a firm believer that if you do that, your chance of getting a good puzzle is probably about 20 to 30%, and your chance of getting a great puzzle is really, really low. This is not a great puzzle. I don't think this is a great puzzle. I think there's some good stuff in it, but I don't think it's great. I'm very happy with this puzzle considering what it was, and I was just lucky. That happens sometimes. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for being part of the journey, and I'm really interested in what people want to say about this. I mean, this is not the way I normally make puzzles. I mean, sometimes I do for fun, but I normally don't release puzzles I make this way. Yeah, I just wanted to share this journey and this experience because it was kind of a weird one, and I thought you might be interested. And, you know, not all Sudoku setters are geniuses. Sometimes they're just people playing around with tools. That's the way it works. Thank you everyone for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this particular journey. And as always, good luck with your setting. Good luck with your solving.